Welcome back to Full Time, everyone. Download the AFTV Plus app and jump on FANZONE. I want to hear from you all. And I don't know, I need some perspective on this. I've got Robbie on one side saying, it doesn't matter, the bigger fish to fry line, all that. We've got Turkish, who isn't as bothered about that competition, but cool, would like to have stayed in it. And then you've got me, where I'm just like, come on. We're going to do so well to win any of the other trophies. I thought this was a missed opportunity. But if I'm trying to give me some clarity, try help me. Turkish, I don't know, you've done your fan cam. I didn't hear it as you were doing it. But, are you disappointed we're out? Even if it's slightly, but
I'll use the word I used on my fan cam. I don't care that we're out, but I care very much about the performance.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I could do.
Because I feel like the performance builds on my concerns throughout the season. More so than just concerns coming out of this game. And when those concerns feel like they've come to fruition and St. James Park is round the corner, it's not a nice place to be, because behind Etihad and Anfield is probably St. James Park, the next one on the list that I don't want to be at after a loss or after a couple poor performances. So, we're out, cool, but what's more worrying for me is the direction we seem to are going in this season in terms of the style of play.
You were doing well on the watch on to crack why we see the Carabao Cup differently, as in maybe me and some other fans to you, Robbie, and some other fans. Yeah. Now, I have seen Pep Guardiola lift that trophy 4 times in a row. Klopp's won it. Jose Mourinho won it. He won it with Chelsea and with Man United. I've seen very good sides get to finals. We haven't won it since 1993. I care about us winning it because I've seen other managers care about winning it, and it's silverware in the end. There's so few trophies you can win. It's harder than ever because of Man City's dominance, because of what Klopp's done with his Liverpool team, that I just didn't feel like we could write this off. Help me understand, what... Why is it so disposable for some?
What I said in the stream is probably the root of it all. I grew up on watching legendary managers Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger look at this competition as a chance to play youngsters.
Yeah,
give academy players a chance. Give some of the fringe players a chance. And I used to enjoy it for that. I used to enjoy the League Cup knowing that I'm going to get a chance to see maybe a Cesc Fabregas or Arturo Lupoli or a Fran Merida and so many young players over that time that either made it or didn't make it. But it was exciting because of that reason. Not because I, wanted to win it. It was exciting because I knew this is a chance for us to see who could potentially be next up into the great team that we're seeing week in, week out in the league. Now, that's the big difference to now. We're not a great team yet because we haven't done an invincible. We haven't done a double. We haven't won a Premier League title. But when I grow up on that, regardless of Jose Mourinho coming in, because that's when it really changed. Jose coming into Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, and he took it very serious. And ever since then, managers do tend to take it more serious than they did when I was growing up. But there's also evidence to say that the top managers at the top clubs still look at this as the least of their priorities, because you look at Man City against Newcastle. Man City played a weakened side. They got knocked out. When you look at Man United, where Ten Hag needs a win. You look at their lineup right now. It's not the strongest. Who knows what United's strong lineup is? But there are players that you'd expect to be starting that are not starting, and that's a manager that needs a win at a club that are playing so shit week in, week out, but they still rotate. So
I hear that.
I think I'm not disagreeing with you that it's disappointing to be out because it was a chance for us to win a trophy, and it would have been nice. But like I mentioned, my analogy is this was the starter, and I've been waiting 20 years for my main course. So pardon me if I don't really care too much about the starter coming out now. I want the main course to come out, but it would have been nice to see a starter as well.
But then I used your analogy to say, but if I'm starving, I'm not worried about whether it's a starter or a main. There is something, and I do think this group of players needs something to the point. Oh, go on.
Sorry, but I've got another analogy off the back of it. You don't care if it's a starter or a main, but if you get the starter, i.e. the Carabao Cup, you're going to be hungry again come May. If you feast in May, you will be full for months. You will be full for potentially years. Yeah, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Fair use of the analogy.
Hit me with the next one.
I don't know if I can, to be fair. Listen, at least you made me laugh.
It depends how many shits I take in the 7 months after eating well. Because if I average X shit two a game, two a day.
Oh, it's getting late. Oh, tactical insight in the mud.
Bring me in for this week. I'm ready.
I think we're all right. I don't think we need a tactical insight on this one. Look, Robbie kept saying to me, what's a better season, getting top 4 or finishing 7th and winning the Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Like, and I think it's not a great analogy, but we're having a laugh at this point. I'd rather have a laugh.
Yeah.
I said, if Robbie gave me a fat pay rise and I walked out on the street, someone punched me in the face, I'm not sure I'm going home going, it's been a good day. Like my point is, I'm still disappointed that it's a terrible analogy. So I don't know why I've told you that. My point I'm making is, I don't think just because we are in a good place where we are challenging for the title, I believe we've got a team that can challenge, and I predict us to win it, where I believe we can actually go and do something in the Champions League, doesn't mean I'm not disappointed about this.
Yeah.
This stands alone as its own competition, and everyone goes, and Robbie asked a great question on the fan cam, went, okay, well, what did you want then? What should Arteta have done differently? Sometimes it's not, we should have double and inverted. We need to get Saka closer to strike. We should have brought the subs on early. He should have played Rice with Georgia. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's you 11 out there were shit and should have played better.
Yeah.
That's all. You just should have played better, because I know you got better in you. First half against Brentford, we played them off the park. We were good. First half today, we were actually fine. But to come out in that second half, Jorginho getting spun into an empty midfield, defenders are just running back, hoping, and then Bowen did, Ramsdale does well to deny Bowen. Ramsdale punching into his own net or whatever he was doing. That was poor. Everyone saying deflection. Slightly. Okay, his hand would have been there instead of there. Come on, he should have done better with that. Zinchenko, horrendous on the defending. Gabriel, I think should get a block in there. I think he's done too much to spread his body. It's gone through his legs. It's just poor all round. And then when we needed to show something to get back in the game, we didn't have it. So I'm just disappointed the players went out there and played poorly, because aren't they pros who want to win football matches and get to finals? And even if it's bottom of the priority list, it is still something that whatever our 11 Arteta put out there, they should never, I'm not saying they were, but the mentality should never be, all right, the fans might be a little bit in second gear and Arteta might have rotated, but we, the 11 out there, who aren't, some of them not playing every single week, shouldn't be in second gear, should be given their all. I didn't see an Arsenal performance from a group of players that looked fully at it. This mattered like the 3 points on the weekend, and that's really disappointing. And I'm not saying that was their mentality, but I'm just disappointed that the performance even looked that way.
Yeah, but I think that's again where we differ in our analysis of the game, or our takeaways more so than the analysis, because I look at the manager more so than the players, even though I don't disagree in you questioning the players. I just think I've seen this all season from very different teams that we've seen on the pitch, where I've mentioned the word fluidity, I've mentioned the word transition many times this season, and again I feel the same, because as much as we rotated the side, defensively actually we kept 4 of the 5 defensive players that we started pretty much every game with last season, from Ramsdale to Ben White, Gabriel, Zinchenko. 4 of the 5. So you would have expected our transition from defence to midfield to at least be quite efficient, and even that was a struggle because of the tweaks tactically. And I'm still looking at Mikel Arteta for that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We was light in the midfield when I saw Jorginho, Havertz, and Vieira. I thought, remember at the beginning of the watch along, I said this, I'm going to say 1-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham win it. So that's really what I took from it. And then when you look at attack, you'd think there's enough there to cause problems, but the reality is we didn't. And that has been a running theme all season. We've looked at the side, we thought it's a strong team, and then we failed to really create cutting edge chances. And listen, we've won the majority of games this season, and we sit unbeaten in the league, but there's a deeper story to it all. Like when we went 22 games unbeaten with Emery, there's a deeper when Ole finished second with United, there's a deep, and I'm not comparing them, I'm just saying sometimes on paper it might look great, but the reality is there's something that the paper's covering.
That is totally fair. I actually agree with you, and that you're right, that does make me look at Arteta and go, but the football, there's questions about how sustainable it is. I think if you've got a great base defensively, I think you can always build on that, so I'm not worried about the team, but I do get what you're saying. I just find it difficult when when I'm being told, would you rather finish outside the top 4, or would you rather finish in the top 4, finish 7th and win the Carabao Cup? Swansea in 2013 were the last team to win this competition, not finish in the top 4. So I don't know why there's this kind of unwritten, well, you're going to have to sacrifice next year's Champions League if you want this cup, because it's never, ever proven that way. In fact, the beauty of it is you get it out of the way and won before you're actually into the crunch time of the main part of the season. So I take issue with that. My thing is, you said if we don't win the league, it doesn't change for you whether we won the Carabao Cup. I can see how that can be true in my head at times. But if we finish second, like we did last season, legitimate title challenge, but fell away towards the end, and at the end of it we go, you know what, we just couldn't keep up with City and we fell away. But we won the Carabao Cup in February. I do look on the season better. I do go a title challenge, and you got silverware for your efforts this season. For the team you are and how well you played, you've at least got silverware that at the end you go, fair play. We won a competition, we won a trophy. It doesn't drastically change how I feel about the team or whatever, but it's a great moment. It's Wembley, it's silverware, it's lifting things to the point where, even though the Community Shield, I agree, isn't a major trophy, to the point where, I care about winning that, more than, if we lose it, I'm not just like, oh, whatever, I'd rather win it than not. And I feel like this group of players needed to go further in this, to just prove to themselves they can have a good run, they can lift some silverware, help build momentum. And I feel that, I just feel disappointed that we're out. I feel like I'm always moaning.
No, but that's not. But I'm disappointed we're out.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, you are. But then again, like I said, we come from different backgrounds in terms of what we know growing up and what football, we watched, and you grew up on the League Cup being a lot more important than what I grew up on the League Cup being. So I can understand you being more disappointed than me. That's not something that I'd look at and think, strange. It's not strange. I'm disappointed too.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, listen, a start is good. A start is good. And at the end of the season, if you don't get a main course, then at least you would have had the starter. And that's the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it.
Which is fair. But my thing is that, like I said on the watch along, let's just say we finish second and we win a Carabao Cup. I wouldn't want this club to think, listen, that's a step up on what we done last year. When in reality, it is, but it isn't. Because
sure, I get what you're saying.
After last season, we want to be challenging for Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup. And if we get the Carabao Cup along the way, then great. That's how I see it. If we get it along the way and pick it up midway through the season, excellent. If we don't, it is what it is. All
right, guys, let's get some callers. Let's get thoughts from callers. We're live for the next 35 minutes or so, and we just want to hear from all of you. Michael, you helped me feel a lot more. Let me say, you gave me a good perspective on what happened on the weekend. Yeah, we won, but I wasn't as blown away as a lot of people. How are you feeling about this? Equally as disappointed, or like there's more to focus on?
Well, look, if we're going to go out, I'd rather go out now than burn up all the extra minutes that it would take to lose in the final of the League Cup. Okay,
that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
My two main thoughts here are that I used to be Team Ramsdale. I'm not anymore now. I mean, it's a little bit unfair, but he could have done better with the second and third goals. And I also think that Tomiyasu starts for me over Zinchenko now. That Tomiyasu is inverting just as well as Zinchenko, and the difference in the defensive ability is like really stark now.
I agree.
Yeah. Second thing, in a kind of a negative way, this makes me understand how much of our creative drive is coming from Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli, and can't be replicated as easily by bringing in the subs. And the same is true for the defense, is that when we talk about the value of Saliba, it's not just his individual one-on-one defending. It's the way that when he's in there, the defensive structure kind of radiates out, and it breaks down when he's not there next to Gabriel. So that's where I'm at. Willful men, the injuries we inflict on ourselves must be our schoolmasters. Come on, you Gunners.
Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure to hear from you, man. And I get what you're saying. There's a lot of reliance on Odegaard, Martinelli and Saka. Has it, just quickly, Michael, before we let you go, has it changed your confidence going into the weekend? And do you think it's changed the players' confidence and momentum going into the game? Like, or should it have no impact because maybe they'll just brush it off?
No, I mean, I trust Arteta to diagnose what was wrong and how to fix it. I would like the players to get angry about it. And I would be a lot more worried if we'd started with Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and this happened to us. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is, when we hit Newcastle, we're going to be going after them with people that didn't play a lot of minutes in this game. So I don't see that affecting our confidence.
I really hope you're right, because they need a big response. I said in my fan cam, to be fair, Arsenal, this group, they do give you responses, so I really hope they do again. Michael, big thank you, mate. Always a pleasure. See you very soon.
Love you, mate.
Got a comment here from Jean Ren, says, you're not wrong, James. I'm sure everyone at Arsenal wanted to win, but the starting lineup didn't tell me we don't care about this. Everything West Ham touched turned to gold today, and we were bad. Look, I understand, right? Bit of luck on the first goal. An own goal, Ramsdale's pull back with VAR. Maybe it goes against, maybe it goes our way, but then VAR doesn't give me any faith that actually they would go. They'll probably say, well, it didn't impact White. So anyway, the second goal is brilliant from Kudus. That touch is unreal. So while I'm annoyed at Zinchenko for getting beaten, because what's poor isn't that Kudus does Zinchenko with that touch and skill. That's brilliant. What annoys me is that Zinchenko is almost running back from an inverted position when that ping, like, he's nowhere near in line with the defence. So he's running all the way back, and by the time Kudus takes that touch, he's still running back into position. That was poor. We've got the next caller in a sec, but just quickly, Ramsdale on the third goal. It's one error, and some people might say the deflection makes it unfortunate. But can we end these Raya Ramsdale tears? That's what it is. It's so, like, once again we've seen Ramsdale as an error in him, and I think he's a very good goalkeeper, and I don't think he deserved to lose his place. But Raya's here now. We have to deal with the facts. Can we just stop this? Like, I don't know, it just feels like such a drama every time Ramsdale's not included in the lineup. He made mistakes, as Raya can make mistakes. We want them to be the best version of themselves possible if we're to win the league.
I don't care which one it is. Whichever one wants to grab the bull by his horns, be my guest. I couldn't care less if it's Ramsdale or Raya. Just one of you, take the mantle, run with it, and do us justice.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
A couple comments came in earlier on my opinions of the Carabao Cup, and I just, sometimes I like calling the comments out.
Sometimes.
Simple Minds as well at that. So Simple Mind number 1, Naveen, said Turkish sponsored by Arsenal. Now, this is very simple-minded. Because
wow.
Imagine me out of everyone being sponsored by Arsenal. But let me break this down. The reason I don't care about the Carabao Cup is because this club cannot get away with just winning the Carabao Cup. And we've got sections and pockets of the fan base, probably like yourself, Naveen, that if we do win the Carabao Cup and win nothing else in the season, in the summer, you'll look back at it and say, well, we won a trophy. And you'll banter with opposition fans saying, oh, what did you get? We won the fucking Carabao Cup. I will not allow this club to move into the Emirates and 20 years later look at the Carabao Cup as some form of success. So it's the opposite of sponsored by Arsenal. The next one here from JUK, Simple Mind number 2. What dribble are you talking about? You need a trophy as well as a title challenge, you fool. The fool is you, because we need a title. Fuck a title challenge. We need a title. I miss me with the Carabao Cup shit. I do not give a shit about the cup. What I do give a shit about is the performance. You win a Carabao Cup with a Premier League, no one gives a shit. It's not even called a double. It's not called a double. The double is the FA Cup and the Premier League. The Carabao Cup is just a biscuit for the tea. That's it. You don't want a biscuit on its own. You might want a glass of milk. The glass of milk is the Premier League title. The tea is the Premier League title. Not a dry biscuit on its own in February.
Milk chocolate digestive is all right.
On its own?
Yeah.
What, no juice?
Maybe some water.
Fucking hell, plain Jane.
Yeah, listen, I want the Carabao Cup win, so I'm surprised it's taking me this long to be called a plain Jane. Yeah. Let's get Kian on. How you doing, Kian?
Hi, guys.
Are you
as good as you can be?
As good as you can be. So it's bothered you, this defeat?
No, I'm just looking at comments here from people and stuff like that, and like as you said, the whole Ramsdale Raya thing, I couldn't care less anymore about it. I think I'm seeing people commenting about Havertz. I think we just need to forget about the whole Havertz transfer, just move on. Like we're reflecting on the most stupidest of things, I think, fans, every time we lose. like, the way to look at it is the two big wins we've had in the league this season, we've gone on and lost the next game. We lost 2-1 to Lons away, and then we obviously go lose tonight against West Ham, who probably are of a higher standard than most of the teams we've played this season, probably performance-wise, because they have been probably a lot better than they were last season. I just think when you look at some of the lads in the lineup, I think Zinchenko, I think he's really showing his colours now, and why Man City got rid of him, really. I think defensively he's too many errors in him, and I'm speaking with Javi there on Instagram and literally said to him, I was like, I really don't understand why Tierney was let go. Tierney probably would have put in a better performance today than Zinchenko. I suppose, what's kind of your opinion on the defence, I think, performance today?
Okay, so here's my thing about the defence. Individuals were shocking on some of those goals. Like Ben White, there's own goals where you go, that's unlucky, and then there's own goals where you go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. There was no way from the position you put yourself in that you were going to get your head on the ball in any way. And I know it's split seconds. I know it happens quickly. But you are that's football. Like, I'm going to have to leave this one. You hear a call from your keeper, something. So I don't really have a lot of sympathy. It's not like, oh, unlucky, you tried to get your head on it. No. The second one, Zinchenko totally done. And then the third, I just think it's all in build-ups a bit crap, but then Ramsdale, I think, should do better. So I think individuals are poor on those goals. But where I will defend the defence is that first half, the defence gave the forward players more than enough of a platform to go and grab a goal or two. And the problem is that after so long of not creating enough chances, not scoring goals, the other team gets encouragement, and then you are sticking it on the defenders more. Then you are like putting them under pressure. They had to do some last ditch defending. Gabriel Ramsdale with a good save, because Jorginho got torn through the midfield by Paqueta and then was forced to make a big save. So while I think some of them were really crap on the goals they conceded, I do have to sympathise that they weren't helped by the forwards who, the defence, it was their next year of 0, West Ham. 0. And they were 1-0 up. Okay, cool. But we didn't do enough with the opportunities of possession, the pressure we had. And that is disappointing as well. So I feel a little bit sorry for them as well.
Yeah, and I think kind of, as you said with the forwards, I think it really shows, like, I'm not trying to criticise them too much, but with Eddie and Nketiah, it's all well and good you score a hat-trick against Sheffield United, who are bottom of the league. But when you are given the chance now to step up, obviously with Jesus' injury, this is the type of game he needs to grab it by the scrunt of the neck and score at least one or two, and he's not doing that enough. And like, when it comes to January, I think all fans do want that striker to come in that can take a game like at the scruff of the neck and just get those goals. And right now, Eddie Nketiah, in my opinion, I said it even at the weekend, he scored a hat-trick, but he doesn't do it enough. He needs to step up, and he's not stepping up when we need him.
Well, careful, because
I'll be proves me wrong.
they weren't happy with me.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw the reaction to me on the weekend after the hat trick, but I'm not even gonna talk. I'm gonna let things play out.
I'm not gonna talk,
and I'll address it again in January, and we will talk then and see what we're like.
Yeah.
Kian, big thanks for calling, mate. I really appreciate it.
Cheers,
by the way, Kian, before you go, love the hoodie.
Yeah, I know. Chili peppers all the way.
There you go. Right, everyone. Let's go on to our next caller. Big thanks, Kian. Who have we got? So actually, before we get the next caller, sorry, let's just get a super chat from 40 side. Last season, we lost momentum after losing to City in the FA Cup. Going deep in the Carabao can build good momentum in the league. That's why I wanted it. Matty says, Turkish, big up yourself and the big six. James, do you think Tomiyasu lets that ball get to Kudus? I don't know why.
No.
We can't go strong, then make subs.
No, Tommy at least tries to intercept. And when you try, even if you don't get, you can put the player off his first touch. That's what's unforgivable with that Zinchenko moment, because fair enough, you might not have been able to reach it, but not trying, and then not only not trying, but not positioning yourself in the space where Kudus wants to bring it on his left. And the two mistakes in one moment from Zinchenko there.
There was enough time in that switch ball for Zinni, in my opinion, if he's better positioned, to get out to at least challenge for that. He's got a good spring on him, Zinchenko, or at least, like you said, make it difficult for Kudus. But he had all the time to think, I want to take a touch, and I can take a touch because I'm seeing all the way because the defender's nowhere near me. And when I take that touch, I'm sending him away, and I'm rolling it in. Unreal goal. By the way, Kudus, a player that so many people said we needed for depth, for Saka, but no, the position remains unaddressed. Let me not moan about everything, but I couldn't help myself. Next caller, Jackie. How you doing, Jackie?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. Well, where do you sit with it? Are you just going to brush it off or feel a sense of disappointment? Where are you with it?
I think first and foremost, Eddie Nketiah is not good enough as a backup. If we want to challenge for the title, I think after the hat-trick, a lot of Arsenal fans kind of overreacted to it. Sheffield United is one of the worst, along with Burnley, Premier League sides we've seen in recent years. And I think that if we want to challenge, we don't have the depth that's good enough. I disagree with the caller from before on Zinchenko. I think the reason we were able to make a charge for the title was Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus bringing their championship mentality. And I think we just don't have the depth. I think the injury of Yuri Timber early on, and I think Partey and Jesus going really shows our cracks. Just not good enough. Havertz is too inconsistent. Obviously, the Carabao Cup is not a title that is worth anything. We saw Manchester United win it 2 years ago, and look where they are now. I think a team, when Leicester won the FA Cup, 2 years later they're relegated. 3 years later, I think that it's really just showing we're not good enough in our depth. Fabio Vieira is a decent player, but he's not ready to spearhead a championship contender team. And I don't think we can compete with Man City unless we have better backup. And I think it's showing.
Yeah. Where are you, like, in terms of the Newcastle game this weekend? Because this team knows how to bounce back, but this is also a team that I'm contradicting myself, but has shown an ability to go through a run of 3 defeats, a run of 3 poor results, whatever it might be. Typically, they do bounce back. They do, even if it takes 2 or 3 games, they do drag themselves out of it and pull together a little bit of a run. But are you worried that we'll get some kind of negative response, or do you think they'll come out with the right mentality come Newcastle?
I think if we don't have Jesus, we don't have Partey, I think it's a draw or a loss. Newcastle have shown that when they can get their stadium behind them, I think they could basically beat anyone on earth right now. And I think the loss today really shows that we do not have the quality when our best players are out. You see Manchester City, their backup is one of the best strikers in the world in Julian Alvarez. In almost every single position, even after losing Mahrez and Gundogan, I mean, I think that their second team can compete with our first team and make it a competitive game. If you put our second team up against Man City, I think we lose 3-4-0. I think we got lucky, obviously, I think it was a good showing and a good defensive performance against Man City. The goal from Martinelli was incredibly lucky, but I think we're going to finish 3rd and 4th because we don't have the quality. I think we'll lose to Newcastle. I don't think we're good enough. I think the injuries are. I think if everybody is healthy, I think we can challenge Man City, but we have too many injury-prone players. I think we'll lose to Newcastle, and I think we'll finish top 4, but not good enough.
Man, fair enough, Jackie. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it.
Nice one, Jackie.
Call back soon. We've got a super chat from JC. Says, we haven't been ruthless enough in the last 2 transfer windows. That's down to Arteta, Edu and Kroenke. Caicedo, Kudus, Mudryk were there for the taking. JC, could we have done more in transfer windows? Sure. I can't look at what Havertz has given us and say, yeah, 65 million of, take even a portion of that, it could have gone on Kudus. We finally could have had a backup. It could have gone on Szoboszlai. It could have gone on Nunes. It could have gone on, okay, they went to Liverpool and Man City. Fine. It could have gone on James Maddison. Could have gone on a lot of players. So, they've done a lot of good in the transfer window. That doesn't mean that they're immune of criticism for what they've got wrong. What I disagree with, though, is saying Caicedo, Mudryk were there for the taking. Mudryk has done very little to nothing at Chelsea, bar a scuffed effort that went, put them 2-0 up against us. And he clearly, was overpriced. Caicedo, well, I agree with the Kudus one. Caicedo cost 115 million in the end. We paid 10 million less to get who I believe is the better player. So the criticism in general towards transfers can be applied. I'm not sure those are the best examples. Let's get another caller in. Mans, good to hear from Mans. Mans, we spoke yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. Did. You said you really wanted to go through. Wait, did you?
I did. I'm quite dejected and angry, actually. I came on yesterday. I said I want to win this competition, and the reason why is the way I can picture the situation is, let's say we're in May. We're in a situation where we lose the title like Liverpool kind of did a few times to Man City by a point, by a goal difference or something like that. And we can all come out and say we fought well this season. It happens by a goal difference. It can happen to anybody, not like we did last season. At least this time it's by. If we got a trophy to back it up, let's say even a Carabao Cup, and I've never been somebody who advocated for Carabao Cup too many times, but this season for some reason I really wanted to win it, and that reason is I think is because subconsciously I don't see us winning the title. The reason why, and I have been optimistic. I know if you've probably spoken to me a week or two ago, I would have said yes, I do believe we can win it, but we've got these disgusting performances in us all the time. If it was a one-off today, I wouldn't have been panicking. Listen, it's a Carabao Cup. I'm more focused on the league and the Champions League anyway. We have this in the league. We've lost the game in Champions League. We drew against Fulham. We drew against Tottenham, and those were bad performances. And we've got those performances in us, and the reason why is not squad depth, because we've got squad depth. We've got the players. The reason why is lapses in concentration. We are not laser focused in this football club. This team is not laser focused. We are playing. I swear to God, we're playing like we won the league last season, not City.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that's the way it looks to me. That we look so complacent. We look like we're disrespecting some of these teams. We went to Chelsea last week. We played disgusting. That should have been the scoreline against Chelsea, 3-0. The only reason is they've got no strikers to score goals. They literally had to rely on a penalty and a cross fluke goal. And then we scored 2 goals in like 5 minutes, but we had a very bad performance. Then you keep saying we can bounce back. Why do we have to bounce back? We shouldn't have to bounce back. We shouldn't have to bounce back. We should have to win game after game. I'm not saying win every game, but at least show the performance. Today, the first 15 minutes were all right. I would have put somebody with a defensive mind in that midfield today. Arteta decided to go with ball retention, so he just put Havertz, he put Jorginho and Fabio Vieira. And to be fair to him, it was working the first 15 minutes. I thought Reece Nelson from the right caused a bit of trouble for them. I thought, we've caused something. And then that silly idiot goes down and scores that own goal. I mean, everybody was man marking, and the only one who didn't get the memo was Ben White. He was zonal marking, so he was just marking the zone. And all of us. Listen, I know the manager wouldn't tell you this, but sometimes you got to improvise. If you're not sure, don't hit the ball. Just leave it. If you're not confident, if you're not sure, just leave it. And he goes and does that. Fair enough, it's only 1-0. I don't think the first half was terrible, by the way.
No, I don't think. I thought it was all right. It was all right. We played fine.
I don't know what he told them at halftime. They came out for a second half. Like lambs to wolves, man. They almost scored with Jared Bowen instantly after the second half started.
That is one of those where I felt they might get a fourth. It should have been 4 if Bowen took his chance. So Ramsdale did well on the save. Turkish, you were... I've had a mind blank now. Man's made a great point that you were talking about performances and how it's one thing when it's a one-off, but actually regardless of the competition, the players out there, the same patterns in games where we're not playing well are emerging, and you can apply that to the Champions League and the Premier League as well. There is something about Arsenal that doesn't feel right in that sense. Like, we don't look like we can actually weirdly do what we just did with that Ødegaard goal, which is actually play through a team. We don't look like we can do that more than twice in 90 minutes.
That's why for me, a lot of this comes to Mikel. You think I'm happy with Havertz?
Yeah.
I'm not. But it comes to Mikel, man. I think that's what you're talking about. Like, I said at the beginning of the season, from where we was, I expect to take 2 steps forward. And whether that wins you the league or not, with Man City, I get it. With Pep, I get it. Haaland, I get it. You know, they must every year because they are the best. But from where we was last season, the bare minimum we could do is take 2 steps forward. What are those 2 steps forward? Concede less goals and, you know, maintain the attack. I'll say that. Instead, we've taken 2 steps back to potentially take 4 steps forward. I didn't. Again, I'm gonna lean back on how long I've been waiting. I didn't wait 19 years to challenge for a title, then take 2 steps back to potentially take 4 forward. It should have been from here. You buy the right players in the right positions. And listen, Timber aside, because that was very unfortunate. That's not on Arteta, the club, anyone. It's very unfortunate. Timber aside, I look at our transfers and I think, well, the goalkeeper one, it might be Raya might be an upgrade, and we'll find out, in due course. Cool. Was it necessary? Probably not, but it was cheap. I guess it didn't have much impact on our budget. Fine. Rice, excellent signing. A sign of things to come, I thought. We've turned the corner. We broke a transfer record. Arsenal have spent over 100 million on a player. What? Arsenal have bought a player that just a few days ago Man City bid for. What? This is all new to me. And then we buy Havertz and then we call it a day. And our net spends 130 million, and now we're talking about, should we sell Partey? Well, that question we was asking last year and the year before that. This is not a surprise with Partey. This is not a surprise with Jesus. What is surprising is that Arteta's decided to change things up so much for me. And people might say it's not so much when you compare stat for stat last season, this season, but visually it's so much.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Mans?
Ramsdale, by the way, I don't want to get into the goalkeeping situation too much. I've heard what you guys said before. Ramsdale today, to me, he showed me why he's the number 2. And I've been saying it since the end of last season. I've been saying it. It's not that I don't like the guy. I thought, a bit like what Jamie Carragher said, we are not going to win the league with that goalkeeper. And I think that's why he's brought Raya. I know Raya's made some mistakes, but Raya has literally just started playing for a big club, and I can see the nerves in him. I can see why he has the nerves in him. Ramsdale, he should be doing better for that second goal, and he should definitely have been doing better for that third goal. I know there's more culpable players in there. The defense was shocking, especially for that second goal. Kudus getting the ball like that. And I don't know what Gabriel Magalhaes does when Ramsdale is in goal. That shape, he was stretching his leg. I don't understand what that was. Just sits down, and it goes through his legs. Like,
I didn't think Gabriel looked great on that goal either.
It was terrible today. The only reason, one last thing, the only reason we have not been criticizing these performances too much is because we're still unbeaten in the league, and we're in the Champions League. We've got a group that we probably know we're going to finish first, or we're going to probably go through. And losing to Lens, fair enough. We still went to Sevilla. We still won the game. We're still probably going to go through. That's the only reason we're not panicking. And that's the only reason we've not been too critical of these performances. But if they continue, we're not sniffing any trophies this season.
Mans, thank you for calling, man. Really appreciate your thoughts.
Sorry for what? Be yourself.
Great. Thank you. And also, thank you for sticking up for me, because I have a lot of those thoughts. But listen, man, it's always a pleasure. Keep calling, man. Thank you. I just want to touch on something else, okay? I've got a tweet here from Gunner Blog, and it started a chain reaction of thoughts. So he tweeted that Arteta said he basically said, "It's my fault, Arteta." And he said, Gunner Blog said that the "it's my fault" thing sounds very much like what he'd say after screaming, "Once again, I'll take all the fucking shit," in the dressing room. And it just took me back. Actually, there's a conversation between him and a guy called Ganesh on Twitter, where Ganesh alludes to what happened in the Forest game. Do you remember the Forest game? We got knocked out of the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I remember people then telling me, look, it happens. It's only the FA Cup. We've won this before. We've we're challenging for top 4. We don't have the squad depth. And what came out of the documentary later that year was Mikel Arteta losing it with the players. And it wouldn't surprise me, like they're saying here, is again, he's absolutely lost it with the players, because whatever we think of this group of players, no one has more faith in them than Arteta. Because Arteta spent the 65 on Havertz, bought Trossard, gave Eddie the number 14, expects our number 10 Smith Rowe to be fit. He has got more faith in these players than any of us fans. He employs them, he signs them, he plays them. So when people are telling me on Twitter or in the comments, calm down, relax, I don't believe our manager is calm and relaxed about that. I believe he's out there furious that they've been knocked out of competition. But like where I imagine he is, I just think it's not about rotating and saying, well, we should have gone full strength and we should have treated this like the Champions League final. It's not that. I'm just hoping for better from our squad depth and the players coming in. And I think Arteta will be feeling more let down than anyone that they didn't step up for him.
Potentially. But what if he's being real? Because it can be a form of protection, and that protection in turn turns to motivation. I get that. But why didn't he use that at the end of last season after West Ham or Southampton? Why is it now in a season where it's evident that he has made tactical tweaks? It's evident that he is asking the goalkeeper to do something a bit different. So I actually believe that it's on him. That, you know, I've been saying it before you just told me that quote. I've been saying I think it's very much on Arteta, because he's asking these players to do something that on the pitch it's not translating into fluid performances, dominating performances. And by dominating, I mean comfy wins against teams we should be beating comfortably. Now people will say Sheffield United, Bournemouth. Yes, I'll look at Nottingham Forest, Fulham. Yeah, we beat Forest, but in the end it wasn't comfortable. Fulham we didn't beat. So there's examples for and against. So when he says it's on me, similar to Raya, when he said that's on me, I looked at Raya's performances and I thought, he's being asked to do that for Mikel. So Mikel saying it's on him, that's fair. He's doing it again today, and previously to that quote I said it's on Mikel. So I lean more towards he knows he's making changes tactically, but he also can see that it's not fully flowing yet.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's get Javi on. Javi, man, how you feeling tonight?
I mean, disappointed, but I think for different reasons than you, gentlemen. First of all, you know, we were all called very negative last week in Turkish. I got something for you here, bro. So you can wait. Is your umbrella, so you can come in like Mary Poppins singing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Bro, I thought he was pulling out a rifle, bro. I was thinking, what's going on? I thought he was pulling out.
I'm getting one for. I'm gonna get myself one for Christmas. Don't you know?
I thought, shit, it's about to go late.
Yeah. How good is this fan zone tech? I'm a bit worried.
Yeah.
Why are you disappointed?
I'm sorry.
Why are you disappointed? How does it differ to our or mine or our disappointment?
I think that, you know, I think you're disappointed with the performance today and things of that sort, and I get you, but I think, I mean, James, we spoke yesterday, and believe it or not, that I'm not sure you remember, that midfield and forward line was the exact midfield and forward line that I had actually mentioned, like man for man.
Yeah.
And I said, if that team is not good enough to keep mid-table West Ham within reach for our main guys to come on and see the game out, then you clearly don't have the quality and depth to compete in multiple competitions. And who's responsible for that? Mikel Arteta. Listen, I've been the biggest supporter of Mikel. I backed this guy when he couldn't even buy a point, let alone a win. And the fan cam that actually made me a regular on AFTV was when I said that Lacazette and Aubameyang are two halves of one striker, and we're never going to be able to play the style of football that Arteta wants, because I understood what he wanted to do, but I saw that he didn't have the players to do it. But after this summer transfer window, I can't tell you what Arteta's trying to do. And it doesn't make sense to me. And what's interesting is that we saw that in preseason and right before, you know, Timber's injury, we were playing a very, very different system, which I was in all favor for, because I believe that in due time it was going to click. But you clearly didn't have enough like-for-like players to continue to play that system, because all it took was one injury to Timber, and then you have to switch everything up. So clearly you jumped the ship way too quickly in terms of trying to switch things up tactically when you didn't have enough like-for-like players. And we look at some of the names today who didn't perform. Zinchenko, when Zinchenko and Tierney were here, we always said Zinchenko is the fullback that you play when you go against a team who's playing a very low defensive block and you expect to have a lot of the ball, but you need to have a different alternative for when you go up against tricky wingers. He let go of Tierney, didn't bring somebody else in. He starts Tomiyasu because he should start against Newcastle. So now Zinni, who's one of the worst defensive fullbacks in the league, but one of the best, going forward, is going up against Kudus and Jared Bowen, one of the trickiest wingers in the league. Jorginho is getting overrun in midfield. Why didn't you get that holding midfielder that I've been calling for a year and a half? Havertz, a £65 million player, and we're giving him credit because this time he actually put in a sprint or two. And Eddie Nketiah, who everyone believed that, Messi robbed him of his Ballon d'Or for scoring that hat-trick at Sheffield. Where was he today? Where was he today? And what's crazy is that Trossard, who started, James is dying over there. Trossard, who started on the left-hand side with four.
Ballon d'Or. That is outrageous. Oh, man.
All right, I'll let you guys laugh at that one for a little bit.
No, because I've heard a lot after that hat trick, but I haven't heard that one. So credit to you.
Wow, that's good. Fair play to you.
I mean, it's just, gentlemen, it's more than just today. Listen, it's not the fanciest trophy, but if anything, it just reinforces a lot of the poor decisions that I believe were made in this transfer market, and a lot of the poor decisions that were made in terms of the players that we kept on and some of the ones that we let go, or the ones that we failed to bring in. And yeah, listen, that Raya Ramsdale debate has been beaten to a dead horse, but I don't even think it's about the quality of the players. It's just that wasn't a priority when we still need that other midfielder, when we still need that backup to Saka, when we still need that backup left back, when we still need that alternative striker. That wasn't in the list of priorities. And transfers take time and negotiation. So even if we got him on a cheap, or even if they paid us to take him off his hands, why were we wasting time and resources trying to get that one in when there was at least 3-4 other players that this squad still needed? That's my biggest problem with it, because it wasn't a necessity. It's not so much whether one is marginally better than the other. If you want to do it to go marginally better because you've addressed every other position, fuck it. But that wasn't the case. And so it's a bigger picture, gentlemen, and this lack of quality and depth, E.S. Smith-Rowe injured again, Partey injured as well. This is going to come back to bite us more than once this season. And in my opinion, in the league, we've already dropped 6 points that we should have taken. Fulham at home, Tottenham at home, and Chelsea away.
Fair. Javi, you make some great points. We need to take in getting one more caller as well before the end of the show. But thank you. And you've made some really good points. What is he trying to do? I understand that. I hear that. So Javi, big thanks for joining as always, man. See you on the next one.
Take care, gentlemen.
In a little bit.
Nice
in a little bit. There's before we take that final caller, there was a comment here. Daily says, shut up, stop being babies. We will lose games, and that's all it takes. You can jog on. If we lose, get behind the team and we go again. Not wanted faves. I don't know what that bit means. Look, Daily, first of all, I've been here when we've had negative results and told people to be calm. Chelsea, for example, we played terribly, we drew, we really should have won that game, or should have been good enough to win that game. I stood by the team. Lons, I don't think I lost my head really after the Lons game, but people need to certain competitions, there's time to make things back up. Tonight we are out this competition. I'm frustrated we're out. Some people have frustrations about the performance, which I think are worthy of exploring too. I don't think everything, just because you're disappointed in a bad mood, means you're crying. If people saw footage of Mikel Arteta in the changing room screaming at his players for a bad performance, are the fans going to look at that and go, oh, stop crying, Mikel? No, they're going to go, that is the mentality we want. So why can't fans just be disappointed that we got knocked out of a competition? Or that they're not that happy with what they saw over 90 minutes? Tomorrow I get up and I go, I love this football club. I really hope we beat Newcastle. And that's it. But right now, not 1 hour after full time, I'm still disappointed we lost. And we're exploring that defeat because we didn't just lose. We were 3-0 down, could have been 4 or 5. And we need to talk about why. We've got to take the final caller, and I think it's Dini joining us. Dini.
People like that should just shut the hell up though, man. Like if you don't like
Not you, Dini,
but sorry, that was quite a delayed reaction, but I was trying to process things, and you know what, I flip all the time and I'm tired of flipping about these things as well. But why are you here? Why are you here after a loss if you think we are acting like babies, when actually today I think we're having quite a good conversation? I think all the callers have made good points. You've made good points.
You've been very calm.
And we've actually...
You basically said, look, it doesn't matter, but there's performance issues.
Yeah, just
I'm the one crying.
Just shut the hell up. I don't get it. These are the same fans that come into the season. If we don't win nothing, their head goes right into the sand until we sign a player, and their head comes back out. We're back next season, because they're not there for the down moments. They ignore everything when we don't win something, or when a player they like doesn't perform well, head in sand. But we can't talk about loss.
Dini, you get the final say. I'm afraid I have to push you to deliver it in one go. But are you disappointed we're out? Are you concerned ahead of Newcastle?
I am disappointed. Generally, because I just want to win every trophy. That's it. Like, as every fan would in general, whether it's a big trophy or not, you just want to win every game, I feel like. And the players that came in against Brentford, they put in a good shift, but tonight it just was not good enough. I said the same thing when Ben White headed in that goal. I was like, just what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? Like, bro, come on.
It was a poor moment for him.
Was Zinchenko again. Like, I believe Tomiyasu gets tighter. Zinchenko had more than enough time to get tight to Kudos, another player that we could have signed in the summer window as well. Again, with this Nelson and this, that, and the other. With this Havertz thing as well, it's another thing that we can pull up. I'm surprised that even when Arteta even signs Zinchenko, he still hasn't tried him in that 8 role where Havertz is, because he could even play that role and put Tomiyasu in behind as well and this, that, and the other, but he hasn't tried that yet. And with the 3rd goal, Ramsdale, I believe he can actually save that. It is a slight deflection, and obviously, like you said, split seconds and this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, I think he could have saved that. But it's just a bad performance. There's no fluidity. The transition is not great at all, and that's just been consistent throughout the season. Even when the substitutions were coming on today, I was like, it's 3-0 down. Even though I'm like 25%, I commend him for maybe even going for it and saying that it seems like he does want to win it. But then at the same time, we're 3-0 down. We've got Newcastle on the weekend. Let's just make sure, because if any of them came off injured and then going out at the same time, it could have been even worse. But luckily, that wasn't the case. But
yeah,
I think he's got some issues to address. He's definitely got some issues to address, and I'm glad that the game is 2 days away instead of like next week or something, because we can address it quickly and bounce back, and we need to. We need to get everything back.
I'm sorry it was short and sweet, but you made some great points, man. It's always a pleasure hearing from you. So we'll get you back. We'll be doing a fan zone, I think, tomorrow, if not Friday. It's one of these days. So we'll see you, and everyone who didn't jump on. Apologies, it's a tighter show than normal with these late lives and these late games. It can get like that. But big thank you to everyone who joined. Dini,
it's all good.
Thank you.
Stay blessed.
See you in a bit, my friend.
Come on,
every
you
time.
too.
In a bit, my friend. And like I said, sorry to the other callers who we couldn't get on. We are running one tomorrow. We are running one after the game on Saturday as well. So plenty of opportunity to have your say. We're running Twitter Spaces as well, and we do want to hear from you all as well. Turkish, a big thank you for joining as always. Got on a blog with this tweet. I know I've read a few of his, but they've been quite poignant. He does say in a tweet after that this is a bit of fun, but he goes, look, all I'm saying is I'm not sure how long having the phrase 60 million down the drain in a player's song is going to be funny for.
It wasn't funny from the get-go, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
For me, but you know me, I don't find many things funny, but here we are.
You miserable bastard.
Friends, Only Fools and Horses and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
True. R.I.P. to Matthew Perry, legend. All right, everyone. Arsenal are out. Is it the end of the world? No. Does it define our season? No, probably not. But we're allowed to be annoyed by it. I believe our manager is. I believe the players are. I'm going to be as well. Can they respond with a big win at Newcastle? Of course they can. And now, I want to focus on that. See you tomorrow. Look out for the previews on AFTV. Subscribe if you haven't. Catch you in a bit.